A couple weeks ago, getting ready for the black party, a friend of mine here in New York blogged about his indecision on whether to attend, and one of his commenters mentioned that he found it sad and embarrassing that men in their 40s or older would still be interested in going out to dance clubs. And I left a snarky comment to the tune of, what is it exactly that middle-aged gay men are not allowed? Are we not allowed to dance? Are we not allowed to have fun in nightclubs? Are we not allowed to take off our shirt and expose our withered bodies to horrified teenagers? And the guy really pissed me off. But I've been thinking about it for a couple weeks, and I think the reason that this guy and many others have such a strong revulsion to seeing guys my age or older out in clubs is that we're a bit of an oddity. There aren't that many of us around. Uh, Most of us are dead of AIDS, of course. And maybe the occasional sighting of someone who isn't dead not only reminds these guys of their own fading youth, but we serve as reminders of the guys who have passed and how there should be so many more of us on that dance floor. A few months ago, the Circuit Party magazine called Noise asked me to write a story for them talking about my own history nightclubbing. And I want to read it for you. Forgive the glasses. It's called We Met on the Dance Floor. We met on the dance floor. It was in 1983 to the sound of Donna Summer's Love is in Control that our dance floor fraternity was born at Orlando's Parliament House. First, it was just me and Ken, dancing together for that first time to that Donna Summer record. And a couple weeks later, Daniel began joining us on the dance floor. Then Daniel's roommate David, then Barney, then Jeff, then Eddie. We danced in a group, identical fake preppies, facing each other in our stiffly starched polo button-downs, always making sure before we went out that we didn't wear the same color. And our dance floor friendship stretched to include house parties and dinners and frequent road trips to dance in the mega temples of Fort Lauderdale, tea dance at Backstreet with Bob Miro, Friday nights at the Copa with DJ Robbie Leslie, always with adjoining hotel rooms, interior doors open. We'd try on t-shirts, cut each other's hair, dish, and laugh. And then we'd go out, always dancing in that group. For years this went on. We got skilled at imitating each other's dance floor eccentricities, Barney with his pointing, and Eddie with his furious head shaking, and me with my arm waving that my friends always said it looked like it was I was trying to land planes. When the lure of Fort Lauderdale could no longer be satisfied by a monthly visit, we packed up our particle board furniture and left Orlando for good. First me and Ken, then Daniel and David, then Barney, then the rest. To the Fort Lauderdale locals, we were the Orlando boys. We hated that. But on the Copa dance floor every Friday night, our fraternity grew. We added Nathan, we added Jimmy. We were no longer the Orlando boys. We were the crew cut guys. That we liked. One night in '88, standing in a boisterous line for Club 21, Nathan tapped the back of Eddie's bicep. "What's that?" he said, pointing to a nickel-sized purple bruise. Eddie craned his neck to see. "What's what?" And the other guys in the line fell silent. In August of that year, '88, our entire group attended our first big circuit party, the Hotlanta River Expo. We stayed at the Colony Square Host Hotel, and I tortured everybody with my new video camera, capturing every minute of the preparation rituals, the body shaving, the bronzer application, and the wardrobe ritual that we had christened tank top ballet. Try on a tank top, pirouette in front of the mirror, self-assess, invite criticism, start over. Repeat, repeat, repeat. We wore matching Two Life Crew t-shirts down the Chattahoochee River that year. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, we walked home from the armory, singing the KLF's 3 a.m. Eternal. It was a glorious weekend, and it was the last one we all had together. Eddie died first, only weeks after that first Hotlanta. And looking back, I suppose it was amazing that he had attended at all. I'll never forget his dancing on the speakers of Velvet on the closing night, his massive arms drawing lots of admiring stares, but Eddie keeping his shirt on all night to hide the KS lesions that had spread out from his bicep. A foul chartreuse army on a death march to his lungs. In Atlanta '89, Eddie's absence loomed large, and we still returned to the same place where he had last danced, and we did a shot of Jaeger, his favorite. The '89 trip would prove to be the last one for Daniel. He was taken by lymphoma a couple months after we got back. And yet, in 1990, we went to Atlanta again. We came the following year, in '91, without David. And looking back, I've always wondered where we got the strength to return to places that held such powerfully sad memories. And recently, a friend compared us to the dinosaurs after the great meteor. Something horrible had landed amongst us, and although surely doomed, we still gathered in the familiar places. We didn't know what else to do. At the first winter party, I was waiting for Jimmy to come out of the portalette when DJ Buck dropped the needle on Johnny Mathis's disco version of Begin the Begin, and a sickening wave of goosebumps rushed over me. That was Jimmy and Barney's song. It had been played at Barney's memorial. When Jimmy didn't come right out of the portalette, the attendant in charge got suspicious and marched over and yanked the door open. And Jimmy was collapsed against the wall, his eyes closed, his mouth open in a silent wail. But 15 minutes later, we were back on the dance floor. We didn't know what else to do. Throughout it all, the bizarre illnesses, the compound Q, the AZT, throughout the temporary improvements shot down by setback after setback after setback, we found ourselves on the dance floor. Parties in the name of AIDS, parties despite AIDS. The dance floor was our strength. The music was our holy communion, dispensed by the only God we worshiped, the DJ. We danced through tears. We danced through heartbreak after heartbreak. But we healed each other. We healed ourselves. There's 4 of us left. We, the shaggier, saggier remnants of the crew cut guys. We don't dance as nearly as much as we used to. But when we do, we find that once again we are part of a happy troop. Membership grown to include new friends. They don't share our history, but they do share one thing. We met on the dance floor.